Hello and welcome to Muddy River News this week. I'm Bob Goff. My guests are Ricci, Dula, and Anngelina Chasteen with Scouting America. Welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Hey. Scouting America, formerly known as the Boy Scouts of America. And we're going to talk about that later. But first off, we want to talk about the annual Saukenauk Reunion. And Saukenauk has been a very important place for scouting for years. It's been important for people who aren't into scouting because they still attend events there. My very good friends Joe and Danielle Heading were married there.
Yes, they were.
So fun stuff like that. So let's talk about the Saukenauk Reunion.
Yeah, well, it's coming up next Thursday. The reunion event is really an invitation to all alumni, all Eagle Scouts within the tri-state area that maybe got their Eagle within, Saukenauk or the area, and we're inviting them back to reminisce, to participate in this reunion event in order to really represent the historical aspects of Boy Scouts within Scouting currently, and also to just kind of share those memories and all of the history of Saukenauk and Scouting with the next generation of Scouts.
Yeah. It's been way too long since we've had something like this. So we were saying, hey, attention everyone who's had a memory being at Camp Saukenauk. One reason why we're doing it while camp is in session is so that way these alumni get a chance to see the modern Scouts, have a great time. They'll be able to go see campfire, flags. They get even a chance to have an opportunity to eat the camp food that maybe they can reminisce from decades ago when they had it. Hopefully it's a little bit better now than it was at the time. But we just think it's going to be a good chance for people to say, hey, I remember being here, I remember being there, or saying, wow, this new shower house is amazing, or this new amenity, our zip lines are looking great, those type of things.
Yeah.
How many acres is the facility?
Over 600.
Yeah, I knew it was massive. And again, everybody's got a memory and a story, and even if you weren't in Scouts, maybe your kids were in Scouts or whatever, and it's just a great place in our county and in the whole tri-state area actually to use. And the good news is I think that you kind of open things up and you can kind of use it a little more for more than just scouting, correct?
Yeah, well, you just mentioned the Henning wedding, and that opened up us having other weddings there. We've had several weddings since then. We have various other partners and groups. Like, for example, we have Camp Callahan, a special needs organization that uses our camp in July. We absolutely love them, having them as a partner. We've had the Quincy Middle School go there, as well as various organizations who use our multifaceted facility. In fact, this is the last few years we've been also having our annual sporting clays, allowing these participants to shoot over the lake, have a wonderful experience, and then to some degree reminisce, because many of them were Scouts at one time, and then many of them have been participating and supporting our council through this event for 20 plus years. So switching it from Heartland Lodge to our camp in Saukenauk has been really a pleasure there of having more people just see our facility, because we don't want this to be the best kept secret. No. We love our camp, we love what we can do there, and most times when we give tours, people are like, wow, I didn't realize that there was so many opportunities for anyone to do things there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Camp Callahan is certainly one of the best events that's held out there every year because my wife being a special ed teacher, she's been out there and involved in a lot of projects over the years, and how all the kids who have gone through there, and even they've been doing it for so long, some of those kids who went through it are now counselors themselves and doing that and helping out, and it's just such a wonderful thing for especially the special needs community to have a part of it.
And I'm sure you can relate. These days with the modern technology where kids and everyone else is on their cell phone, the fact that when we're at camp, first off, the reception is not good out there. We do have Wi-Fi.
My kiddo was not appreciative of yesterday when I dropped them off for staff week, but that's part of the deal.
It should be.
We do have Wi-Fi for those who need to do business. Like there's parents that have to, can sometimes barely take time away, but will still want to be there with their kids or their unit. But when a kid's out there and they, let's say, pick up a stick, then it just opens up their imagination to look at things from, could this be a lightsaber? Could this be a sword? Could this be a walking stick? And endless other thoughts and ideas, or if they're playing with bugs or leaves or building a fire. So we love this camp, and that's one reason why we want to have this reunion, is because I'm sure that there's many people from decades ago, if not just a couple years ago, that can have so many memories and say, if it wasn't for Camp Saukenauk, I would not be where I'm at today.
Right, and if it wasn't for scouting or something that was relative to it. And I think that speaks to the importance of this program continuing and why this alumni event really is a very important event, because taking those who have been involved in scouting and understand the importance of the leadership aspects that it's brought to their life, all the different skill sets, and really a lot of kind of esoteric knowledge that is really taught and preserved through scouting is now passed on to these generations. And opening that up to both boys and girls is really a benefit, I think, to all of the future children who are going to inherit our earth and our communities. But taking those who grew up into scouting and putting them in a space shared with that next generation and giving them an opportunity not only to reminisce for themselves and within their own smaller community and meet up with friends and remember together, but also sharing that with those youth that are going to be at that event. I think that kind of hands it off to the next generation as to how it impacted them, the importance of that, and why scouting going forward is such an important part of this tri-state area community.
And that, again, I think that really leads into the next thing, is to talk about the numbers. How are they? Probably not where you'd like them to be, and what do you do to get those numbers up?
Well, we're definitely not where we want them to be. As the last few years have been challenging, including COVID, and when you have a program that's very much an interpersonal and in-person type of activity, and you couldn't do that for a while, we certainly lost families, and we're working to try to build some of those back. But what we're doing is we're identifying that many families cannot afford a lot currently. We were talking about taxes before we got on air, and the families are just having more challenges. So we're working on finding ways to subsidize or greatly reduce the registration fee. National has fees of which we can't control, but we can control the narrative after that point. And for us, we say, hey, let's see if we can reduce the price. We've been finding donors, so that way when a family wants to go and join the program, they can join it for less, and they can say, we want to try this out. Because we know that when they try the program, they're going to see the values from it and what they can gain from it. And on top of that, scouting is very much a family environment, family atmosphere, where if their siblings are not old enough yet, they go to meetings. If the parents who may not have a lot of, let's say, social networks, find another social network in their scouting unit, in their scouting community. So those are all things that we're working towards, and I'm very grateful to have Anngelina on our team, because she has been boosting our social media and our marketing, and we anticipate having a robust marketing plan this fall to help make sure that every family has the opportunity to join this fall.
And again, I think when I mentioned at the beginning, going from Boy Scouts of America to Scouting America, it's because girls can now join.
Yes. Well, I mean, actually, a lot of people aren't completely understanding of how involved girls have been in Scouts for as long as they have been. I think that they actually opened up to girls joining in what was it, the Venturing, yeah. In 1969, and it was full co-ed by 1971. So girls have been involved in Scouting. Think of, also moms and leadership that have been involved in Scouting for a very long time. And this call honestly came more internally from what I've come to understand within families in the membership and in the program. It's very frustrating if, say, you have two boys and a daughter, and you go to all of these Boy Scout events and your daughter attends because you're not going to look. It's a family event. You don't need daycare, so you're going to bring your daughter with you, and then she's going to kind of participate but not get credit for these activities and these merit badges. And so that became very frustrating for families. And so it was like, we want both boys and girls to be able to come, learn these skill sets, participate in the program, and benefit from the program and get credit for what they're doing. So I think, honestly, the ability for us to increase membership is actually going to go up significantly. It's just really getting the message out to the community that this is such a valuable program. And aside from any other extracurricular activity that kids can do, Scouting really offers so much more variety than most, youth-based extracurricular programs. You have, sports, and you have, voice lessons, dance, whatever your kid is into. And those are all beautiful, amazing, incredible things with value. But Scouting really hits all of those points. It takes it across the board. Yeah. We have performing arts merit badges. We have ecology-based and so many STEM-based programs. And all of our activities, not only is there a diversity in what the program offers, but it's year-round. It's not seasonal. So you can take a break and then come back again if your kiddo has a sport or something like that. So as far as membership, we actually have an opportunity for growth here with these changes rather than it continuing to see a decline. And the biggest benefit really is getting families to understand and see that their kids are going to learn things within Scouting that they're really not going to learn anywhere else. If this program were to go away, you would lose so much skill-based activities that is being brought to youth for educational purposes from our communities. And so it's our job really to not only preserve scouting for the next generation, but really get the message out there to the community of how much benefit this will bring to their household and to their children's futures.
So for the last few years, a better part of 6 years, Scouting has had girls in all phases of this program. You know, Angelina talked to you about the venturing program, which has been co-ed for a couple of decades now. But our program is now fully inclusive in all levels as of the last 6 years. And then it got to the point where it was brand confusion when it comes to the consumer. If let's say a parent wants their daughter to join the program, they would have to ask their daughter if she would like to join the Boy Scouts. And so we just realized that there was a little bit of confusion there.
Sure.
So the name change came nationally to Scouting America to help reduce that. My team, my field execs who would go out there and go to the schools and do the recruitments, in years past, and I remember doing this when I was a young district executive and doing the same thing, I would always have to say, hey girls, send this flyer to your siblings or your cousins, but let me just talk to the boys. Now my team is very excited. They're going to all the elementary schools. They're saying, hey, not just for the boys, I'm talking to all kids. You want to join this program, you can do that. As a result of that, our council has roughly 15% of its membership that are girls. And that's exciting, and we believe with the brand change that we can improve that.
How are the troops broken up now? I mean, do we still have an X number of troops in town, and then they're like by schools or churches, or?
That's the general concept. Is you want to make sure to keep scouting local. For the Cub Scout level, otherwise known as those from kindergarten to 5th grade, from the girl standpoint, that is pretty much an all-incorporated, pretty much all co-ed program. At that age level, the boys and girls kind of just interact all the same. But when we get to the Scouts BSA, or what is previously known as the troop level, 11 to 18, or 11 to their 18th birthday, we have either boy troops or girl troops. We're currently piloting co-ed troops nationally, and we haven't heard the results yet for that, but in this current frame, boy troops, girl troops, and so that way they can have age-specific activity with just their gender, so that way they can focus on that. And as a scoutmaster for an all-girl troop, it's been really fun to watch that leadership structure. It's kind of funny because in my opinion, they're a little bit more mature than those boys are at the same age range.
No, surely not.
Surprise, right?
Yeah,
Absolute shocker.
No. I have two boys and a girl. So yeah.
You understand that, right? So just watching how they do their structure, how they talk about at meetings, how they do their own organic leadership is so contrastly different than the boys. But the boys also have a really solid element. They like to go camping a little bit more frequently. You can see that that kind of mentorship / that peer push as well from the boy standpoint. So it's really good, and it's been fun watching it being in separate units. But then when you go to an activity like a camporee or summer camp, they camp in different sites, so that way we maintain youth protection, as that's our #1 priority. But then they do activities together, and it's been rather seamless, to be honest.
Have we had a female Eagle Scout here yet?
Yes, we have.
We have.
Yes. The very first female Eagle Scout in this area of Quincy, her name is Katie Gorder. She earned that 2 years ago, and since then we've had a couple others since then.
All right, well, good.
Yeah,
so it sounds like the implementation's actually going really well.
So far, so good, and it's been an honor watching all of these young kids, not just boys but girls, really develop into great adults and community leaders year after year. You just see the changes each year, and it's been a joy to watch.
I attended Eagle Scout initiation at Q&D last year, probably a few months ago but it's so great to watch those young people, and it's a real accomplishment to be an Eagle Scout.
It really is.
It really is, and I think that it's something you have your whole life, and it is. I mean, that's something that's up there when. You know, a lot of people talk about their accomplishments and they go on their resumes. They include Eagle Scout because everybody knows it's a big deal.
As they should, because what it really takes to get to an Eagle Scout level is a lot. It is a lot of work. It's an impressive amount. And it also speaks to your commitment to your own community, to yourself, and to so many different things. And if you understand and learn about the Scout law and how people really guide their lives going into adulthood if they have been in scouting, it says a lot about you and your character, I believe.
Yeah.
Angelina, one more time, the date and time for the reunion.
It starts at 5 p.m. next Thursday, June 12th at Saukenauk Reservation or Scout reservation, and it will go until finish. We will have actually some surf and turf for the alumni who participate in the event, so it's not just camp food.
I got vetoed.
Catfish. Wait, catfish and hamburgers, that's surf and turf.
Right,
technically.
I think I voted for mystery meat. Personally.
But yes, and then there's going to be some program activities that get to participate in the flag ceremony with the families and family fire and all of that. So there will be some program and some communication with those who are participating. But we look forward to the event. We think it's going to really bring those of the history of Boy Scouts into the future of the youth of Scouting America, and exposing them to the families today, I think, is going to just benefit everyone.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for both stopping by and all the work you do, because, again, it is so important for young people to, as you said, get off their phones, get off their laptops, get off the iPads, whatever, and get outside and do stuff, and just to be around other kids without the electronics, and go back to, learn how to make fire and tie knots and all that great stuff. And, again, eventually try to become an Eagle Scout, because that's great. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for now. We'll see you next week.